Welcome to the Chief Endurance Officer Podcast. I'm your host, Greg McDonough. Each week, we hear real-time stories from athletes and CEOs on how to maximize performance through an endurance mindset. Let's get started.
All right. Happy freaking National Podcast Day. This has
Dude, it's
been,
great to be here.
yeah, man, Greg, this has been a full day of podcast conversations. And I couldn't think of a better way to round this thing out. This is like last mile in that Iron Man. We're going to get into that. But we are coming down the stretch. We're racing everybody else. But man, I'm so excited. Everyone, please meet Greg McDonough. He is the host of the absolute game-changing podcast, Chief Endurance Officer. CEO is this is brilliant, dude. So welcome to your and congratulations and happy National Podcast Day.
Casey, man, it's great to be here. Great to be with you and to celebrate this wonderful day.
Yeah, so cool. So I've got questions for you. You're always asking other people questions. So today I get to ask you these questions. I really just want to highlight you. I want to highlight your show. We have gotten so much great feedback on your show. It's important for people to check this out if they haven't. The Chief Endurance Officer. First of all, where do they find it? And we'll link to it in all these places, but where do you want them to go?
Yeah, I mean, chiefinduranceofficer.com is the main website, but you can find it LinkedIn, YouTube, all the major Spotify, Apple, you name it. It's out there to be listened to and watched.
All right. And so to kind of get people thinking, maybe I should check this out. What are 3 words that best describe your podcast?
Man, it's a tough one. The first one's got
Hard, right?
mindset.
30, no brainer.
Right? Yeah, give me 25 minutes and I'll tell you. The first one's got to be mindset, right? Like we're talking about the similarities between being a CEO of a business and training and competing in an endurance. And then, of course, second one is endurance. And then the most would be fun. We have a lot of fun on our show, and it goes in a random walk every time. And I don't know what's going to come out of the guest's mouth. And that's part of the enjoyment and the fun of it. But we have a good time.
I love that you said mindset first and the contrast, but also I guess it's the similarity of the executive CEO or someone in the C-suite or just in a leadership role and running that endurance event, right? It could be a triathlon, could be an Ironman, could be a 100-mile swim. Like there's something that just feels, and it's also painful, right? Sometimes, but also joyful. What is it about that makes those two experiences so similar?
You know, it's the dark times, right? It's the days that you're sitting at your desk, wondering if your company's going to make it, wondering if your employees are going to follow you. It's the same days that you're sitting on your bike for 5 hours all by yourself. And it's those days that I find that gets you to the finish line, gets you to accomplish your goals, but nobody's watching you during those dark days and those hard times and the times that you do fail or you crash on your bike or your nutrition plan fails or the bank doesn't agree to what you want to do. And it's like the recurring and getting through those tough times that builds that mindset that gets you to success and your goal accomplishments.
Gosh, experience, and really, this is a podcast that's for anyone who experiences struggle in life. Geez, I wonder if anyone can relate to that, but like struggle in life and then the urge to quit, right? The lungs are burning, the legs are saying, we've got no glycogen, we have no energy, right? Everything's saying I can't go on. The business, the job, whatever it is, it's saying you should quit now. In fact, you know what? Literally on LinkedIn today, there's a whole collage of when you should quit your job. And I was like, LinkedIn, you stirring up trouble here. Like, what are you talking about? And there's all these videos of people saying, you should quit, you should quit. Everyone's saying quit, but that mindset to persist and endure,
Mm.
there's something to that.
Yeah. And you build on it. You don't just get there. Then you got to have the small bumps one after the other and the small victories too.
Yeah.
But it's the long game. It's the journey, not the destination.
I mean, this is huge. And I know you have a business. You are working in financials, you're CFO, fractional CFO, you're doing all sorts of things. What kind of gap did you see in your industry that you're hoping is fulfilled with this podcast?
Yeah, well, okay, so we just touched on it really, right?
Yeah.
It's identifying the habits, the traits, the behaviors, the mindset of executing in your business, executing at home, and executing in your fitness and your wellness. It's we haven't made those connections. I haven't seen that in the industry, and so that was one of the reasons I got super excited about launching this show. It's like, hey, these things are similar, right? The struggles and the victories you have at home and that work are very similar to what you would achieve when you're finishing the line, crossing the line at an Ironman race or rowing across the Pacific or you name it. Um, to get there, the similarities in the mindset and the traits and the habits are spot on. And so I wanted to talk about it. I wanted that. And I also, there's a lot of great stories out there that just haven't been heard, right? You see the headliners both in the executive corporate world and you see the headliners both in the endurance world, but it's the folks like us that have that same mindset that don't have an opportunity to tell their story. And I really wanted to give them a chance to tell their story.
Man, and you do, and I think a lot of people, even with the podcast, your podcast, they see you crossing the finish line with these episodes. They don't see necessarily prep calls like they
100%.
don't see your 5 hours sitting on the bike or the run off the bike on Thursday in the rain or something, right? They don't see those things. So I'm curious, what is the challenge with podcasting, or what have you found to be challenging?
Well, one of the things I find challenging is I am so excited about it that I could do it all day long, right? Like eventually you get tired, right? It's like anything. After if you recorded 2 or 3 shows in a day, you're pretty much wiped because you do the prep. You got to get the energy up. You're up and down. Um, but the challenge for me is I could do it all day long. And the reality is I've got the other half of my life where I got to earn and pay the mortgage. And then this part of my life that it's like the passion and the energy. And so balancing the two is a real challenge for me.
How do you keep those? Can you keep those balanced, or do you just have to? I mean, probably the same challenge you had training for any long, event. I mean, you're
Absolutely. Right.
spending lots of time doing.
Yeah, it's scheduling, it's time blocking, it's not allowing one to creep into the other. Having a good team around you to sort of pace out, good coaching, et cetera. But for me, it's time blocking. I know exactly where I've got spots in my calendar for the next 6 months that I'm going to do prep calls, where I'm going to do my training, where I'm going to do my podcast recording. And so I don't let it go out of control. Yeah. So it's just discipline, really.
That same discipline, the mindset,
Here we go.
on all the things, and it carries over into podcasting. That's brilliant. Do you have any funny moments that are like almost like bloopers or behind the scenes, things that have happened? Maybe we won't see.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, it's from the dog barking to the power going off to you name it. But the top one, I've had a guest who's an icon in the American Ironman scene. He's a world record holder. His wife is just as, if not bigger in life than he is. She's also an Ironman finisher, world champion, etc. And somehow I got him on the show. And I'm about halfway through the show and I hear the door open to my office, where I do my recording. And it's my wife coming down the stairs. And she's like, sorry, Greg, I have to video bomb this episode because I want to talk to your guests. And it was awesome in the moment. And I'm like pulling out my earpiece to give it to my wife so she could talk to him and back and forth. But it was super unexpected. And I'm like, I hope my producer can carve this up in a way that it looks good. But it was it was fun. And I still giggle about it too. But it was the only time my wife's come downstairs and had that much interest in the show. She listens to it for sure. But to actually come and participate, it was a blooper and also a highlight.
That's really cool. Did we end up leaving that in, or did we cut that out?
I think we cut it out.
Cut it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a,
But
it's a
I've used
cool
it for like stories and reels and like for real short. Um, but maybe we have to re-edit that and put it back.
Yeah. You never, it's tough, right? Like, what do you leave in? What do you cut out? Um, but yeah, that's really cool that she was like, "Hey, hold on a second. I want to chat with this person." That's really cool. It's cool that she's listening to your pod too. You got to get those listens in. So
Yeah, I keep telling my 12-year-old, I was like, just keep hitting download, just keep hitting download.
yeah, yeah, shout out to my son who definitely hits my, marketing podcast all the time. So
That's
at least I
awesome.
don't have Z goose eggs from my episodes because I at least have my son listening, you know? Um, so I just wanna kinda, throw it out there and, see what kind of things you've learned along the way with podcasting and then also see, relating to that, do you have any recommendations, for
Yeah,
people starting their first podcast?
yeah, tons, right? I mean, things I've learned, I guess number one is don't let don't let the perfect get in your way, right? I'm still struggling with, is my lighting right? Is my sound perfect? Should I have a studio or should I just do it from my desk? And so a lot of those roadblocks could hinder somebody from actually getting out the door, getting the first one recorded. Um, Another things I've learned, like it takes time, right? For me, I think it takes 100 shows in order to really feel like you've got your feet on the ground, that you're legitimate. Um, and then for recommendations, again, you got to have a passion for what you're talking about. You got to have energy for your guests. You got to be curious. You don't just do a podcast to podcast because you'll fizzle out. You'll lose the energy. It won't sit on your calendar. So the topic that you have, the guests that you have, you need to be really curious and have a connection with them in order for this to be long lasting, like to be multiple years, to be hundreds of episodes. So there's a few things off the top of the head, Casey, that come to mind.
Yeah, that's powerful. I wonder if you've considered how many episodes you have and, how many hours of podcasting that is. Have you ever thought about that?
I have not. And as you know, we've done 2 shows together. And so you add the two together, we're probably at almost 350 shows. So that's 350 hours right there. And then you got prep calls, and then you got it's over multiple years. So it's not all crammed in one weekend. But
Yeah.
again,
And you don't have like a
it's
long
just,
white beard, but 350 hours of podcasting, of listening and learning from other people. I
right.
mean, how do you compare that to a course or a university? I mean, you've created your own, NBA and endurance leadership.
That's right. And to your point, then what? Right. Then how do you use that great content and make it evergreen? I mean, it's evergreen because it's sitting in Apple and on Spotify and on YouTube. But how could you then just repurpose it or stand on a stage or write a book and then that's, I think, sort of 2.0 of sort of being a podcast host is like you're getting this great intimate information from these guests. Let's leverage that so you can really spread the word.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? When you experience something, I think this is part of the magic of podcasting that if you just have like if you and I are just on a Zoom together, with no AI recorders, not a podcast, we might have a great conversation. Or this is the same kind of thing where like, hey, we're getting some old fashions at a EO event or something, and we had this like brilliant conversation at 1 a.m. No one else heard that. And you just think,
Mhm.
oh man, I'll never be able to convey all the wisdom from these two smart guys saying smart things. Like I'll never be able to convey that. And so the magic of podcasting is sharing it with other people. So I feel that same sense that you have to have the conversation, but I want people to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Man, powerful. Thank you so much. Where do we go again? Just to shout out the links. Where do you want people to go?
Yeah, I mean, you find us on all the socials, right? Apple, Spotify, Instagram, chiefenduranceofficer.com. Just Google us. You look for me, you'll find a lot of content too. Greg McDonough. I'm pretty well out there at the moment. So yeah, come listen to it. Send us feedback. Send us potential guests. I'm always looking for insights, positive and negative. This is a community and we're kind of doing it raw. So this isn't Tim Ferriss. So let's you guys support me and I'll support you and we'll grow this thing.
Hell yeah. Better words could not have been said. What a crazy way to close out National Podcast Day with the great and powerful Greg McDonough. Thank you again and happy podcasting.
Thanks, Casey. It's an honor. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Chief Endurance Officer podcast. To hear more inspiring stories and strategies around the endurance mindset, be sure to subscribe below or visit us at chiefelenduranceofficer.com. Until next time, keep pushing those limits